Hello. I know it's been a while, so sorry about that. I'm on summer now, so I've been trying to get to questions and answering everything a little bit more. So as of right now, I have been wanting to make a video on rape for quite a while, but I haven't exactly known how to go about it because I know there's a lot of different types and a lot of different people have been through it, and I don't want to feel or make you guys feel as if I'm missing some or if what happened to you isn't significant. I want to say before I start the video that I know I'm going to miss some aspects of it, and I know I might miss some of what you guys have been through, and I'm not trying to pretend as if I understand every one of your stories. I'm just saying my opinion on it and how I believe people need to react to it. So I'm sorry in advance if I miss whatever you've been through. In our culture, rape is kind of a taboo topic and it's not often talked about, but it's incredibly significant, and I think that light needs to be brought to it. Rape doesn't simply mean that some man took you into an alley and beat you and threw you down and raped you. I'm not trying to minimize that or say that it doesn't happen, but that's kind of how media depicts rape, and that's the only way that the mass public is introduced to it. And I think it's really important for people to know that that is not the only type of situation in which rape occurs. Rape can be you saying no to your husband one night and him taking advantage of you. That is considered a rape. You saying no to your boyfriend or girlfriend and them taking advantage is rape. You being drugged or intoxicated and somebody taking advantage of that and you not giving your full consent is rape. There are a lot of different forms of it, and I think as a society we focus on one end of the spectrum, and there's a lot more that needs to be discussed and have people talk about. As for resistance, I feel like society also has defined what that's supposed to mean. Resistance is not only you punching or screaming or crying. It can be as simple as you saying, no, I don't want to, or you pushing their hands away when they get a territory that you don't really want them to be near. It's not simply screaming and crying. What else do I want to talk about? Another thing that needs to stop is using the word rape interchangeably with other words. I know that happens a lot with self-harm also, like, oh, not even like just interchangeably, but like, oh, are you depressed? Are you going to go cut yourself now? Or with rape, like, oh, I raped that Tess, or oh, he's so hot, I'm going to go rape him. It's not funny, it's ignorant, and I know it's common and that your friends say it. I know a lot of my friends say it. And I always feel the need to say something because it seems ridiculous to me. But people throw these words around because they don't think that they know people suffering from it. I know if you knew one of your friends was cutting, you wouldn't necessarily make that joke in front of them, just as if you knew a friend was raped or sexually assaulted, you wouldn't make that sort of joke around them. Sexual assault is actually really common. Every 2 minutes somebody in the U.S. is sexually assaulted, and 2/3 of those assaults are from somebody that the victim knows. So before you go running your mouth saying these words, I want you guys to think about it. And I'm not claiming that you do, but I know it's a really common thing, and I've heard a lot of it. And I want you guys to think before you speak, because something like rape, it tears these people's lives apart, and it's something they deal with every single day, and you don't want to make that struggle any harder for them. I'd also like to say that rape is not in any case the victim's fault. Rape is not the victim's fault, and I know that sometimes we claim it to be, and it's untrue. Walking home alone doesn't cause rape. Rapists do. Leaving somewhere late by yourself doesn't cause rape. Rapists do. What you are wearing, or that dress or that skirt, it doesn't cause rape. Rapists do. Getting drunk doesn't cause rape. Rapists do. Flirting doesn't cause rape. Rapists do. Drinking too much doesn't cause rape. Rapists do. I understand we live in a society where these things are prevalent and precautions need to be made. So yes, I carry pepper spray and whistle with me everywhere I go. It doesn't mean it's going to save me, but I do encourage you guys to take these precautions, but it is not because it is okay for the rapists to be doing what they are doing. It is because I want you to be safe, and unfortunately we live in a society where you have to take these precautions. But it is not your fault, and I think by tearing victims down and by saying that, oh, you shouldn't have worn that, or you shouldn't have drank that, or you shouldn't have left this place at this time, it's just adding to this idea of the victim blame approach where we're saying that it is their fault that they were raped because they did these things wrong. And it's just promoting secrecy on the victim's part instead of bringing light to the idea and punishing the attackers. 54% of sexual assaults are not reported, and 97% of rapists won't spend a single day in jail. So 97% of these people who are tearing others' lives apart and hurting them in a way that's going to affect them for the rest of their life aren't even spending a day in jail. They're not even being that punished for it. Only 3% of them are. So if you had a group of 100 people, 3 of them are being punished. That's like saying you have 100 murders and only 3 of them are being sent to jail. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And you can tell I'm like raising my voice because I'm getting angry about it. But I think such a large part of that is because these assaults are not being reported, not only because victims are scared, which is understandable, but also because you don't want your parents to know, your friends to find out, because you're going to be looked at as broken and you're going to be looked at as different. But there is no shame in considering yourself to be a victim. There is no shame in not being strong enough to push somebody away. There is no shame in being hurt over these situations. You are allowed to be hurt over it. You're allowed to react to it. You're allowed to fight for what you want. Because this is not your fault. It is never the victim's fault just because somebody else chooses to be cruel and to not know how to treat another human being. So if you have ever dealt with sexual assault, or you have been raped, or anything of the sort, I want you to know that it is okay to take a stand. I understand in some cases, in some scenarios, that doesn't seem like the best way to go about it. If it's not what's best for you, then I understand if you have talked to your doctor and you have talked to somebody, a counselor or a therapist, and you have decided together that it's not best for you, then okay. I still encourage that you report the person. But if you want to, if you've been raped or sexually assaulted and you have a need to report them, then report them. You have every right to. You have every right to take their butt to court and to watch them walk into jail, because that is your right. You have been hurt by this person and they do not deserve to get away with it. You have every right to be hurt. You have every right to take a stand, and you have every right to say that this is not okay. And you're not going to allow it to happen to somebody else. You're allowed to be an advocate for it, not for rape, but for standing up and for saying, you know what, this happened to me, and I want to help others through it. You are allowed to do that. It does not make you less of a person because you have been raped or sexually assaulted. It does not make you any less worthy of love, any less worthy of happiness. It does not make you less of a person. All it means is that somebody did you wrong and somebody does not know how to treat other human beings. It is not your fault. If you've never been sexually assaulted in any way, I pray that you never do. I pray that you never have to go through with that. And I encourage you to become educated on the subject and to take a stand against what you believe in. The fact that you have not dealt with sexual assault does not mean that you are not allowed to go to protest. It does not mean you're not allowed to be helpful. It does not mean you're not allowed to be understanding. All it means is you haven't dealt with it, and you are so blessed for that. And I encourage you to stand up and to say that it is wrong and to fight for what you believe in. Lastly, there's a quote that I saw that says, "My dog understands the word no, so how are you going to tell me that teenage boys don't know the difference between rape and consent?" I understand it makes it seem as if it's just between teenage boys. Also, I know that I've talked a lot about men. Rape is not purely from a man's perspective. Women can rape men as well. It is just as serious. Deserves to be punished just as greatly. So yeah, your dog, you can sit there and tell your dog no, and your dog understands You are telling me that a human being has grown up in this world and does not understand that no means no. You learn from a young age, before you're even able to talk, what no means. There are animals who understand what no means. And so you need to make sure that you understand that no means no. Saying, not right now, maybe later, it means no. Saying, I don't want to means no. Saying, I'm tired means no. Anything other than yes is no in regards to this situation. I think one of the reasons people don't really understand that is because it's seen as just a, like, either they say yes or they say no. If they don't say no, then it means yes, and that's not the case. You need to be educated. You need to see that it is not just someone saying, no, I do not want to have sex with you. Saying that you don't want to at the moment means no. Saying you're tired means no. And I just encourage people to promote awareness on this subject because it's really important, and I don't know why it's seen as so taboo. I think lately more people have been talking about it, but I think the word needs to get out there because I think that these people need to be punished for their actions, and I think that the victim blame approach needs to stop happening. Lastly, I know I just kind of ranted and got all passionate about it. I want to say I'm sorry if I missed anything once again. And I love all of you, and I think you are all so strong. And whether you've dealt with it or you haven't, you are in some way a warrior and a survivor of something in your past or something occurring right now. And everybody is dealing with something that's hard for them to deal with. And I encourage you to be kind to everybody because you don't know what they're going through. And just because your problems are different than somebody else's does not mean that yours are less significant. I know I hear that a lot. It doesn't mean your problems matter less just because they are different. And I love all of you, and I just encourage you to get educated. Sorry this video was so long.